unfortunately, this is such a difficult time right now. And, at the dinner table, come Thanksgiving and throughout the holidays, you might be experiencing an empty seat at the dinner table. How can you get closure right now when a lot of the things that we do as humans, we can't really mourn them right now? What advice do you give to them?
Yeah, it's really unfortunate that the pandemic has resulted in so many losses, and really the traditional ways that we have closure through funerals or memorial services or big family get-togethers where you can talk about the person that you lost, we really can't do that. And that closure is really important for people to be able to move on. So coming up with creative ways to maybe have an online memorial service where everyone shares memories and talks about it, getting together that way can really help provide some closure for people.
Yeah, absolutely. I actually, earlier in the pandemic, my aunt passed away.
Oh.
And she didn't have COVID. She actually was fighting cancer. And my cousins actually arranged a beautiful virtual funeral for her. And at first I thought that, well, she was actually in Florida and I wanted to travel down, and knowing that there would be risks with that. And I thought to myself, could I find closure through this virtual type ceremony? And I have to admit that it really did help. It really did help.
Yeah, I think the most important thing is really connection.
Yeah.
And not being alone with it. So however you can foster that connection, and we're all learning to foster connection virtually, which is new and different, but it can also be very powerful to be able to connect with loved ones virtually.
Staying safe or doing virtual calls, but sometimes they can get a bit repetitive. Mm-hmm. What are some things that we can do to feel even more connected when we're doing these Zoom calls?
Yeah, I mean, I'm told that there's all kinds of different games that you can play and murder mysteries, and I haven't checked out a lot of those options, but I see my friends doing them, different gift exchanges and a wine tasting and, all kinds of different creative ways that I think people are coming up with to stay connected over Zoom and have some fun.
Right, and maybe playing some music together and singing along together.
Absolutely, or even doing a craft. My daughter and my nephew decorated some cookies together over Zoom the other day because they couldn't get together. So I think there's a lot of different things that we can do, and I think focusing on gratitude and just really trying to find that joy and meaning in the holiday, that's part of our values, and really just trying to apply that to connecting with others virtually.
Absolutely. And on a personal note, there's, doing those type of interactions with your family members, there's a lot of great apps out there that definitely makes it seem like you're right there. Mm-hmm. And you come away from the phone call like, oh, wow, I felt like we were in person, playing these board games or cooking together. Mm-hmm. It really takes it up a notch.
Absolutely. Yep.
Many of us are suffering from COVID fatigue. Elizabeth, what are some things that we can do to help cope with this extra stress?
Yes, I think earlier we discussed structure. Yeah. So keeping that structure is really important. Physical activity, maybe some of us can't do what we usually would do for physical activity, like going to the gym. So we need to try to find something else to do, whether it's taking a walk every day or finding something online to do. That's just really important to keep up that physical activity regularly. And, I would really suggest something like taking up a new hobby. I mean, we all have a little bit of extra time on our hands. Yeah. So there may be something that you have been wanting to try for a while, maybe a new recipe or knitting or, some other kind of hobby. Setting up a game night or some kind of ugly sweater exchange or something, for example, virtually with your friends is something that we have time to do now, when usually we don't have a lot of extra time during the holidays.
I've definitely taken up a few recipes myself for these last few months. And I guess, it goes to play with what we've been seeing at the supermarket. So when flour, when the pandemic first hit, there was no flour, eggs and such, because that's what we were doing to try and cope.
Yes, absolutely. And so I think taking up new recipes is a good thing, but at a certain point, we also have to make sure that they're healthy recipes and that we're not overindulging, because certainly it's tempting when you're home working to overindulge maybe in caffeine, carbs, alcohol, for example. So we also need to keep an eye on that and make sure that we're keeping that structure that we would keep even when we were working out of the out of the home and make sure that we're not overindulging and regretting it later.
So ways to cope, would those be things that, I enjoy to do, taking some me time for myself?
Yeah, absolutely. I think certainly myself, during a usual holiday season, there's no time for me time, no time to read or just relax. So this is an opportunity, I think, for some of us to take a step back and say, there's a lot of stress. What's really helpful for me? And that's really an individual, personalized thing. Some people might want to take that hot bath or just curl up with a holiday movie that you wouldn't have time to watch normally. For example, at my house, I have a wood-burning fireplace that I haven't used for years because usually we're running around during the holidays and we just need to get, the things together to get that working. So this year we're definitely going to take advantage of that.
How important is sleep to mental health? There's actually a study out that shows that women, especially women, have been really impacted by their sleeping pattern during the pandemic.
Yeah, sleep is vital to being able to manage our mental health and being able to manage our thoughts and stay calm and not get too anxious. So sleep hygiene is really very important. We need to make sure that we don't drink much caffeine, maybe after noon or so. Don't eat too late at night. Don't overindulge in that alcohol because all of that's going to impact our sleep. And another really important thing that impacts our sleep is screen time and watching that news, especially right before bed. So suggestion to watch the 6 o'clock news, not the 11 o'clock news, and then maybe, later in the evening, just turn off that screen, maybe read a book or a magazine, do some meditation or deep breathing, and try to get your body ready for sleep that way. It'll be a lot easier to fall asleep and stay asleep.
You actually teed up my next question. What are some things that we can do that will help to keep depression at bay? Mm-hmm. And those things that you mentioned, like alcohol and caffeine and all over caffeinating, they feel good in the moment, but it's not good in the long run.
Definitely, those things can build up in the body, and all of those things, caffeine and alcohol, interrupt the sleep cycle and don't let us get to that deep REM sleep that we need to get a restful night's sleep.
Are there any other items that perhaps we're not talking about other than screen time and watching the news? And
yeah, I think just a nighttime routine is really important. Yes. So kind of winding down. So whatever it is for you, that might be a cup of chamomile tea or a nice hot bath, or it might be just reading a good book, nothing too stressful, and maybe some people will pray or do some kind of meditation or deep breathing before they sleep.
I love that. So apart from refraining from those items, start a nighttime ritual if you don't have one.
Absolutely, yep.
I personally have one myself, actually. I am, we were talking about it earlier, I am addicted to lavender oil. So I have a diffuser by my bedside, and I have this new habit where I put in my 6 to 8 drops of my lavender oil, and I'll put on lavender lotion, and I'm ready to go.
Yeah, this is a great opportunity, during the pandemic to maybe try something that you haven't tried before, like aromatherapy or, doing your own pedicure or, something like that.
So, children, they're having a very difficult time, and not just the younger ones, but the teens as well. What tips do you have for parents? And it also, does the stressors, do they manifest differently in different age groups as well?
Definitely, and I think, it's really important for parents to understand what's going on with their kids. So for the younger ones, it's really important that sense of safety, security, and predictability that we were talking about earlier. They like things to be kind of just the way they are, and things that throw off their routine can be very upsetting. And with the little ones, you might see tantrums or, different kinds of anger outbursts or not eating or that kind of thing that comes from maybe a lack of sleep or a lack of structure, lack of the usual activities that they do. For our teens, for the teen years, it's very important the social peer supports and that they can stay in contact with their friends, and they're really missing that in-person kind of contact. So trying to help them come up with ways that are healthy where they can recreate those kinds of interactions with their friends, maybe not social media per se, but letting them maybe have a little bit of extra screen time to do a FaceTime or a Zoom call with a friend and touch base, or play a game online with a friend, for example. It's really important that we let those teens have that opportunity, because for teens sometimes we will see more disturbing kind of self-harming type behaviors or anger outbursts. So those are the kinds of things that we need to pay attention to with our teens.
Right, they're really missing those major milestones, which I'm sure is really weighing really heavy on them.
Yeah, there's a lot of sadness for them, I think. For example, if they play a sport and maybe they miss the season, or if they miss that homecoming dance or that junior prom, or certainly graduation and all those things, it's very difficult. So we need to really consciously work together with our teens to try to see how we can replace those in a safe virtual way, where they feel like they've had that closure and have been able to have that milestone.
So we talked about things to stay away from for adults, right? To prevent any anxiety at bay. We talked about what we can do as a nighttime ritual. What can kids do?
Well, I think kids need to work with their parents to see, what works for them. So again, I know sometimes my kids will get a little bit anxious, and so then we'll do a little deep breathing exercise. Sometimes we do a little stretching or a little yoga together, or we'll go out and take a walk. Let's talk this through and maybe come up with something. Have a family game night. Make a special craft or a special meal together, and really just try to recreate those fun moments together as a family.
Do you have any other type of coping type skills that might be able to help with grounding?
Yeah, I think, we talked about, so I think feeling yourself in your body. You can also pay attention. You can name 3 things that you see. You can say, I see that lamp, I see, the door, I see, the chair, and things that you hear. You try to focus in on the 5 senses. So maybe identify 3 things that you're hearing right now, maybe 3 things that you're smelling. And even tasting, if you're chewing gum, or you can sort of mindfully pretty much anything. So you could be washing the dishes and just really pay attention. What does that soap feel like on my hands? What is this? Just being in your body keeps your mind from going places. Because you really want to focus on things that you can control. And because so many things right now are outside of our control, focusing in on things that you can control is really powerful.
That's so helpful. I can see how that, focusing on the 5 senses can help you deflect from the moment, right? And focus on, what do I smell, what do I breathe, and so on. That could really help with some grounding. Yep,
definitely. It's for a panic attack, or even if you just feel your mind, going out of control, worrying about something, or worrying about a family member's health or something, it just helps maybe before you make that phone call to them to just come into yourself, come into your body, do some grounding, and then, be prepared to have that conversation.
Now, Elizabeth, these tips are so helpful. But if you're having a real difficult time coping right now, Best Self is open 24/7.
Yeah, I mean, if the usual coping skills that you use in the past are not working, if you've tried some new ones and they're still not working and you're just not feeling right, you can always reach out, talk to a counselor 24 hours a day, find out what the options are for treatment. Treatment can be short-term, it can just be a few sessions, and if you need longer or some kind of medication, then it might be a little bit longer. But the team at Best Self, who is either answering your chat or your phone call, can help.
Okay, so if the usual tactics that you use are not helpful, the deep breathing, the 5 senses and deflecting, if that doesn't help, you might need a little bit more guidance.
Sure, yeah. I mean, if you reach out to a friend or family member and they're expressing concern, they're saying, gee, you really, seems like you're taking this really harder than others, and it seems like you're really having a hard time, or people are noticing it also, then that's another really powerful sign that you maybe need to seek some help.
Giving back creates these feel-good type hormones. What are your thoughts on that?
Yeah, I think giving back is really important during the holidays, at any time, and particularly this year because we have so many people in our community who are suffering. So, you know, maybe if you can get your kids together to do a food donation, and you know, you can do a lot of that virtually now. You can pick out the things and have them delivered, or participate in a virtual fundraiser, or yeah, any kind of volunteer opportunity that you can find online. I think it's really important for families and especially children to feel like they're giving back during the holidays.
What are some signs and symptoms that I should be aware of where perhaps I need to reach out to my medical provider?
Yeah, so definitely if you're just not feeling right. So, you know, if it's beyond the sort of normal stress of the pandemic. So if you're feeling anxious, panicked all of the time, very elevated, none of your usual coping skills are working, if you're either, your appetite changes drastically, that your sleep is interrupted, a lot of nightmares, panic attacks at night, for example, or certainly if you're having any thoughts of self-harm or hurting anyone else or anything like that, it's really important to reach out either to your primary care doctor or to an agency like Best Self. And certainly if there's any thoughts of immediate self-harm or someone in your family is at immediate risk of hurting themselves or others, they should call either 911 or crisis services at 834-3131.
So if you did want to reach out for help for a loved one, is it okay to actually reach out to Best Self for someone else?
You could definitely call and speak to the person who answers the phone about what help is available. Certainly if it's an adult person, we'll have to have them, you know, give their consent to ultimately link up to treatment. But certainly there's a lot of supports out there for families, and certainly any parents who have children under 18 who want to link them up, it would be the parent who calls to initiate that.
If you're in immediate danger and you need help right now, what's the best number to call?
If it's an immediate danger of a harm type situation where someone is going to hurt themselves or someone else, you need to call 911 or crisis services. If it's something where there's not an immediate danger, but you're concerned that maybe there will be a danger or that something's just not right, then you can reach out to your primary care doctor or to an agency like Best Self.
Elizabeth, is there anything else that we have not spoken about yet that you would want to tell our viewers?
Yeah, just pay attention. Pay attention to yourself and those around you, and have compassion. Know that this is a very difficult time. Have compassion for yourself. It's okay to feel disappointed. We all feel disappointed. We all feel upset. Those are normal human emotions, and your family members are going to feel the same way. So be patient if someone's upset with you, either because you do or don't want to get together over the holidays, or they're not happy with how an interaction is going. Just really take a step back. Maybe do some deep breathing, do some grounding, put yourself in the other person's shoes, understand, that they're also going through a lot of stress, and that this is a really difficult time for everyone, and then make that phone call.
Yeah. Thank you so much for being here today.
Great, thank you so much for having me. It was a pleasure, Samantha.